Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at one of the most breathtaking mountainous anomalies on the global map. Seriously, it's a place that's barely a blip on the radio waves. And honestly, you might completely miss it if you just glance quickly at a globe. We're talking about Lesotho, affectionately known as the Kingdom in the Sky. And here's a pretty wild fact to kick things off. Lesotho is the only independent state in the entire world that lies entirely above 1,000 meters. That's about 3,281 feet in elevation. Okay, let's dive right into this. Just think about the sheer geographic reality we're dealing with here. Lesotho is entirely landlocked. But, not just landlocked in the traditional sense where you border a few different neighbors. It's completely swallowed up. It's surrounded on all sides by a single country, South Africa. And that brings up a fascinating, honestly almost claustrophobic question. How exactly does a nation in this highly unique, highly vulnerable position maintain its identity, its independence, and its sheer survival over centuries? So here's the roadmap for our explainer today. First, we'll cover the Kingdom in the Sky. 2, forging the Basotho identity. 3, independence and political turmoil. 4, the weight of modernity. And finally, 5, looking to the future. Let's start right off with Section 1, the Kingdom in the Sky, a geographic anomaly. You see, the very geography of Lesotho is absolutely what defines it. Situated way up in the Drakensberg mountain range, it actually has the highest lowest point of any country in the world. It's this incredible land of high plateaus, sheer cliffs, and scenic waterfalls, essentially acting as a massive water reservoir for all of southern Africa. So the crucial point here is understanding exactly who calls these mountains home. The Basotho people make up 95% of the population. They're ethnic Highlanders, deeply, deeply united by the Sesotho language and this incredibly strong communal kinship culture that places a huge emphasis on respecting elders. And their connection to this land, it's ancient. We're talking archaeological evidence, including these incredibly detailed, lifelike cave paintings that date all the way back to 3000 BC, linking their ancestry directly to the San people, the original inhabitants of the region. Moving into the 1800s, we arrive at Section 2, forging the Basotho identity, the Great Diplomats. This is the pivotal era where the modern Basotho identity was truly forged, and it's all thanks to one truly remarkable founding father, Moshoeshoe I. He is widely regarded as the most brilliant African leader of his time, and honestly, when you look at the historical context, it's so easy to see why. Born in 1786, he emerged from relative obscurity during a period of immense, violently chaotic regional upheaval. You had wars of expansion, migrating clans, the arrival of European settlers, just total chaos. Yet through pure charisma, wisdom, and just unmatched political acumen, Moshoeshoe managed to unite these disparate, highly mobile clans under his moral leadership to form a single, unified state. And his approach brilliantly illustrates his strategic genius. Faced with the overwhelming threat of Boer expansion, these trekkers seeking new lands and violently clashing over grazing territories, he didn't just blindly rely on military might, he bought time through diplomacy. When it became absolutely clear that his fledgling nation was facing imminent destruction and the loss of their land, he calculatedly reached out to secure a British protectorate in 1868. He essentially leveraged the British Empire to protect his borders from southern African expansionism. It was a masterstroke that secured the survival of his people. However, that very survival strategy laid the groundwork for a really complicated 20th century. Which brings us to Section 3, independence and political turmoil. The illusion of control. The timeline following their independence is, it's dizzying. In 1966, Lesotho officially gained independence, but that democratic dream was really short-lived. By 1970, after an election just didn't go the ruling party's way, they declared a state of emergency, plunging the country into over 2 decades of autocratic rule. Then came a military coup in 1986. And even when democratic elections finally returned in 1993, the instability didn't just magically stop. It all culminated in 1998 with massive civil unrest, mutinies within the defense force, and ultimately a highly controversial military intervention by South Africa just to quell the chaos. The devastation of that 1998 conflict, it literally cannot be overstated. Nearly 80% of the commercial infrastructure in the capital city of Maseru was completely destroyed by violent battles and widespread looting. I mean, think about the economic impact of that for a second. It permanently altered the nation's trajectory. Investors fled, existing businesses were left in ruins, and tens of thousands of jobs just vanished overnight. That severe economic destruction leads us directly into Section 4, the weight of modernity crushing crises. Because today, the Basotho population is bearing the brunt of some incredibly severe, compounding socioeconomic burdens. This number right here is staggering, 45%. That is the national unemployment rate. And keep in mind, if you go to some of the more isolated districts, like Quash's Neck, that jobless rate skyrockets to an astonishing 70%. It's a level of economic stagnation that is honestly hard to fully wrap your head around. Now, what's really interesting about this is the paradox it creates. Lesotho is a politically independent nation, for sure, but economically, it's almost entirely captive to South Africa. Because there's this massive lack of local jobs, the country experiences huge outmigration. 1 in 3 households in Lesotho survives strictly on remittances. That's money sent back by family members doing grueling, dangerous work in South African mines. Even their currency is tied directly to the South African rand. So they have their own flag, their own government, but they are completely economically dependent on the giant that surrounds them. But unemployment is really only part of the tragedy here. Nearly 30% of the adult population in Lesotho is infected with HIV. Let that sink in for a moment. 30%. It translates to an annual death rate of 12,000 people. The human cost behind that data is absolutely heartbreaking. Lesotho has the world's 3rd highest HIV infection rate. And to make matters worse, there's a 67% co-infection rate with tuberculosis. This epidemic has completely shattered family structures. Because the disease strikes the working-age population the hardest, 1/3 of all children under the age of 14 in Lesotho are orphans. 1 in 4 children misses school entirely just to stay home and care for a sick parent. And the government's free national health program is completely overwhelmed, plagued by severe shortages of healthcare workers who often migrate abroad for better pay. Because of all this, the sheer survival of these families falls heavily onto local kin networks, non-governmental organizations, and faith-based groups. But, a story about Lesotho cannot just be about tragedy. It absolutely must also be about the indomitable spirit of its people. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, looking to the future, resilience and identity. Despite famine, extreme poverty, and decades of political instability, the Basotho culture survives and it adapts. Their strong cultural identity is fiercely maintained through the Sesotho language, traditional festivals, and iconic elements like the Basotho blanket. Furthermore, we're seeing this really vital shift in gender roles. Women, who have traditionally been relegated behind the scenes, are increasingly stepping up into crucial leadership roles. They're serving as paralegals, educating communities about their legal rights, and bearing the immense, crucial burden of managing rural households and caring for the sick. Those enduring communal kinship networks we talked about, they are literally the glue holding the nation together in the face of the HIV/AIDS disaster. Which leaves us with this final, really profound thought. Can a nation entirely surrounded by giants truly carve out its own future? Lesotho is a country caught in a massive paradox. It's fiercely proud of its history and identity, yet deeply tethered to the economic engine of South Africa and battling monumental modern crises. How they navigate this delicate balance is absolutely going to define the next chapter for the kingdom in the sky. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope it sparked your curiosity to learn even more about this remarkable corner of the world.